Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Leadership and Skills series. I am so excited, Anna, that you are my guest. So, Anna and I have known each other for a very long time. We're both occupational psychologists, and we've always gelled, haven't we, on our
Always.
like pragmatism and impact and energy. And anyone watching this, you're going to get 8 to 10 minutes of Anna's down to earth speaking, high energy, and just joyfulness coming through the screen. I'm
Oh,
so glad you've been able to make the time. Hello, Anna.
hello, Celine. What an intro.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Let's start with you. I mean, you've had such a varied career. I know you've been in consultancy, then in-house in different organizations. Just describe for people who you are and your background.
Brilliant. Thanks, Celine. I feel like I need to repay the favour to be here with your amazingness as well. But I mean, we met 20 years ago, and in that
Yeah.
time, I've worked in house and I've worked in consultancy, but always with applied psychology.
Yes.
Whether that's kind of helping individuals work at their best, and then in house, it's much more about teams, right the way up to where I'm working now, which is kind of really looking at how do organisations thrive
Mm,
and what can we do as psychologists to really help those individuals, teams, and psychologists
mhm.
make essentially, this complex world of work better, easier, and ultimately help people to have more thriving careers as they go through all that.
In the time we have together today, I do want to touch on skills and on leadership. So let's touch on the skills piece because I know you've been doing thinking and working in skills space. What do you think this skills movement is all about? What's going on?
And it's a really tough one because I mean, you are right. I think we talk about everything changing all the time, and
Yeah.
it creates like an anxiety, doesn't it? What skills will we need in the future? I'm a mum of two, and you have those panic moments where you think, God, what should I be helping my kids develop and
Yeah.
get good at, because we don't know what the world of work will look like. So against that backdrop, I kind of take a different view. And I think we're a bit obsessed with the change. Like, I
Yes.
think we've almost got too focused on what will shift, what will be
Yes.
different, what will the world of work look like in 20 years? And I think there's too much preoccupation on that.
Mm,
And what we're missing while we're preoccupied with the future is what's happening in the here and now. And
yes.
it's not a controversial view, but I think it's that down to earth view. If I look at the world of skills, we're not focusing enough on the things that haven't changed.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I,
Love
I
that.
think AI, I'm not, AI will change everything. It will change kind of how we work, the shape of our offices,
Hmm.
even how we make decisions and process information. I'm completely convinced that that is absolutely the direction of travel, and that will happen really quickly.
Hmm.
But if I think about kind of what people need from leaders and
Mm,
what organisations need to be good, I think we're
mm.
focusing too much on that external context, and that's what
Yeah.
I think will change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And I've been thinking similarly lately as well. And I think, and I wonder it's because we've spent 2 decades now looking at and studying and researching like the human. Like I feel like maybe you and I have such strong awareness of what a human brings and the
Yeah,
consistency and the enduring importance of those skills. Maybe that's why we're thinking, why we're focused on yes, there's things that are changing and there are some things to be nervous about, but there'll always be a place for the
always.
human. Yeah.
And I've worked in a number of different sectors. So I've worked in banking, I've worked in retail. I'm at Tony Blair Institute now, and even though those sectors are so different from each other, some of the things that people need
Yeah.
from their managers and leaders have never changed.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
my first job, fresh out of uni, I was tasked with doing line manager. What can you help us with our line manager development? We need our line managers to be better. They're
Yeah.
not doing the things that they need to do. Can we get some good training and development to help them? 20 years later, you start another new job. Do you know what we really need to do? Help our line managers be better. We
Yeah.
need to help them with it. So,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
hand, have the
Mm,
skills line managers need changed? Yes, because work's different. Do
yes.
they still need to motivate and inspire, create clarity and meaning for people, be supportive and create psychological? It's exactly the same. So,
Yeah.
that's a 20-year shift. Now, the shift of AI is the predictions will be it'll be bigger and bolder,
Mm,
and
Hmm.
shake things up a bit more.
Hmm.
But I'm not yet convinced that what people will need from their leaders and managers will
Yeah.
shift
Yeah.
as much as, so I've got, that's with the leadership and management lens I'm applying to that skills
Yeah.
zone, I suppose, which is what I do. Do I
Yes.
think other skills will change? Absolutely. And that
Yeah.
goes back to, what do I think my kids will need to be good at? Probably different
Hmm.
from what I was good at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do I think they'll need from their leaders and managers at work? I think
Yeah.
is much more similar than the sort of,
Yeah.
half of it's research, half of it could be like, the narrative we create in our industry,
Yeah.
around what we're doing. And I
Yeah.
think it's probably going to be more simple for leaders to carry on being effective than we think it is.
I love that. And I think there's something really hopeful and calming and stabilizing in that, which I think we
Yeah.
need. Um, any other thoughts on leadership generally? You know, as you say, worked in it for a couple of decades, as you say, a lot that's kind of constant. Anything that's kind of been thought-provoking for you recently, or you've been thinking over, or that you think, is coming on the horizon that's different from a leadership perspective?
Yeah, I think especially kind of at TBL, because we work with political leaders, you feel that change probably more
Sure.
acutely than lots of other environments. But what there's something happening in the leadership space where we've said for a while leaders don't have all the answers, but
Mm,
now I think that is true. Like, we're
mm,
not just saying that anymore, that has become true. There's no leader now that can go, oh well, 5 years ago this was a situation that I faced before. And so there is something in that mix where,
okay,
if
makes
I
sense.
says it was unprecedented times. But
Yes.
I think leaders have got to get better at really holding that as being true. I can't have
Hmm.
all the information I need. I can't have
Hmm.
all the answers.
Hmm.
And how do they do that skillfully, I think,
Hmm.
is more important than trying to sort of win the race with the data and win the
Yeah.
race to get all the information.
Yeah.
I think it's our job as people that develop leaders to help them to be able to just hold
Yeah.
what is quite an uncertain, ambiguous position.
Yeah.
And I think lead through that. That's where I think the challenge is. So
Yeah. Lovely.
being able to say, here's where we're going, this is what I know, this is what I don't know, and you matter and you're important while we're going through that change together.
Yeah.
I think will just become one of these leadership skills that sounds so easy to just caption it there, but to
Yeah. Yeah.
actually do that and have that emotional containment, I
Yeah.
think is an absolute skill for all leaders to master.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I think you're spot on. In the last minute that we've got, it would be remiss of me, and this is me fangirling you to some degree, because I think you've always, to me, seemed to be this lovely blend of the science and the rigor of our expertise, but with the pragmatism of getting stuff done. Um, any kind of fundamental like tips for the audience, anything that you found helpful as you look back at your 20-year career so far, what's really set you up personally to be able to get the great work done, like the actual stuff done that you've done in organizations? Just a
Oh,
couple of
thanks,
bits.
Celine. I think it's some of that. I think it's going back. It's not back to basics because that is too simple. I think it's really trusting that the small shifts really matter.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think our industry, not obviously Cappfinity, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
L&D can be quite voguish. Oh,
Yes.
it's all about emotional intelligence, and now we're
Yes.
all about responding to AI. But I think if we really go back to how do we create people who are really able to listen, how do we help leaders who can manage their emotions so that they create stability in an organization?
Yeah.
How do we create leaders that can cut through and be really clear about the direction of travel? I would say don't listen to the noise that directs your attention away from those kind of fundamental things, because
Yeah.
that's, if you can really, if you can get the smallest percent moving, that's where you get the ripple effect and more things move. And so it starts small to deliver big change.
Love that.
Don't let the size of the change sort of paralyze you. Almost go to its simplest step and work forwards from there, and you will get that shift that you need.
Amazing. Amazing. Need that on a t-shirt. Let's sing that from the rooftops. Thank you,
Forevermore.
Anna.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Celine.
So lovely to see you. Thanks everybody for listening, and I'll see you soon, Anna. Bye.